It's not broken.
That's how long Dorothy has to give up those ruby slippers.
I didn't break this one yet.
You got the new one, huh?
Shelton broke the other one. Not really, but I didn't tell him better than that. Are you guys doing a live on my live? That's like Inception.
Imagine if I looked at the camera.
What are we talking about tonight?
I thought we were talking about your article.
Oh, wait. Sorry, here you go.
You're
Oh, okay.
Stupid
No,
article for
here's your-
idiots. Okay, we're live. What's up, guys?
It's going to be a lively show.
Yes, it will. We've got Paul here, too. He can always add some snide remark. All right, guys. So I got Jeff Kirkham back again, and with him, Paul Markle, student of the gun, or as I like to call them, stooges of the gun. And Jeff wrote an article that hurt some feelings about AR-15s. The title was "Why AR-15s Suck for Prepping and Why You Are an Asshole," or something like that.
Words to those effect. Something
So,
similar.
The synopsis of the article, just in like one or two sentences. What's up?
The synopsis of the article is I called somebody's mama a whore and I became infamous on the internet.
I don't even know how Paul Markle can be your friend because he likes AR-15s.
But is she? I know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I asked Jeff what make and model of vehicle he drove, because if we don't drive the exact same one, we can't be friends. We can't be friends.
No, I wrote that article and it was like the AR.
The article that Jeff wrote, "Why the AR-15 Sucks for Preppers," and by Jeff Kirkham, and put a link up for these guys so you can read it and get mad, and then come over here and yell and ask questions.
It come over here and troll the hell out of me. But you know what? The reason why I wrote that article was, I'm being a survival guy, survivalist prepper, or whatever you want to call it. It means I take the government and big corporations. I'm skeptical of them at all times, period. And
let me stop you, Jeff.
I wrote the article.
I gotta stop you right there. Do you not know the difference between a survivalist and a prepper? I'll tell you.
Yeah, I
since
do.
You asked.
That's why I say I'm both.
A survivalist wants to wake up after the doomsday wearing a pair of leather pants, a bandolier, and a pair of Wayfarers on. Okay? Wants to kill people. Preppers want to all hold hands and sing Kumbaya and trade bread recipes. That's the difference in those two things.
So that begs the question, what are you?
I have leather pants. I'm saying.
He's the king of wishful thinking.
So, but yeah, that was the article. The whole point of the article was, hey, you know what? Just because the military said it's the best thing for soldiers, you know what? It's not necessarily the best thing for you. I mean, and you can go into the whole lowest bidder and all that stuff. And it's like, guess what? There are very few people that are going to put as many rounds through a rifle as I have, because essentially I had an inexhaustible amount of ammo. Very few people. And so that's where it was just like, so if you don't have the luxury of that, then guess what? It may not be the best option for you. It may be a pump action shotgun. It may be, we actually, in our closed group, it touched off a lot of really cerebral debate in thoughts, and a bunch of people brought in stuff. I was like, you know what, man, I never thought of that. And even talking to Paul the other night when we were talking about this very same thing, Paul brought up a bunch of stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah, all right.
I had one cogent point to make, and I made it.
Go ahead.
Then we moved on.
Me? For classes
Me
all
talk?
the time with AR-15s that don't work. And I try to tell people all the time, if you haven't been to like an armorer school or somebody shown you that knows how to do it, you don't know. These guys are, I'm going to have my buddy help me. He's built 6 ARs. What has he done with them? It's like building models back in the 70s, who gives a shit?
Yeah. Well, the average in the United States of America, the average AR-15 owner bought a box of 50, went out with his friends that weekend after he bought it, and they spent an hour and a half trying to BZO the sights on it, and then they gave up, and then they just threw out milk jugs and exhausted the rest of the ammo, and they high-fived each other, and they posted pictures on Instagram holding it, and then they went home and they put it in the closet, and that's it.
And that's it.
That's it. And you're like, oh, bull crap. Like, whatever, dude. The fact of the matter, these, like, for instance, after the school shooting and stuff, these. Oh, this is James's show, so I can say anything I want. Okay.
Yeah.
So these fucking dildos that called News Channel 5 to come over their house so News Channel 5 could watch them fucking cut their AR-15 up. That dickhead never did anything with his gun anyway. He bought it, he shot it once, he put it in the closet, and he didn't even know why he bought it. He just thought he should have it or whatever. He wanted to be cool like his buddies at work. So the fact of the matter is we've done, and we probably talked about this. I think we have, James. We've done such a great job, and this is the firearms industry or the gun culture or whatever you want to call it, shooting sports industry. We did a tremendous job in the last 10 years or so convincing Americans to buy shit.
Yeah.
Great job. I mean, hats off to everyone, Ruger and Smith. And, we did this awesome job convincing people to buy an object. And they did. They went out and they bought it. Like, I got to have one. I have to have one. I don't even know why I have to have one, but I got to, But we did a terrible, horrible job educating them as to the purpose of a rifle, why they would want to own a rifle, what their responsibility is as a citizen who owns a rifle. Mm-hmm. We just glossed over that shit. We're like, well, whatever, because now they're gun owners. And because they're gun owners, that means they're automatically on our side, and they automatically know the truth, and they automatically support the Constitution because they're gun owners. These are the same dildos calling up News Channel 5. You're an asshole. Calling up News Channel 5 and telling them to come over and videotape them while they cut their gun up. Those are the exact same people. Yeah, they don't know why they own it. Did you just do that just now?
Yeah, I was bored. And you were talking, you were droning on and on.
You were given an
you got like 5 seconds to make your point.
I don't need to hear it.
So Jeff, what is the good gun for the prepper? Jeff, so
it depends. The good gun for the prepper? I mean, it depends. Like, it depends.
Tell me what to buy.
That's all I'm getting.
It depends. I'm not the guy that I'm going to tell people what to do. I'm that guy where I'm going to go, did you think about this before you did it, or did you just watch a video and somebody looked cool? You watched John Wick or something, I don't know, and so you're just essentially regurgitating. Now, if you're buying because you're a collector, hats off to you. I got tons of guns too that I don't shoot, but the best gun may be. I've got to say that probably one of the best discussions that we had. I wrote this article to get people discussing it because I want the information. I know what I think is the best gun, but that does not mean that it is the best gun for where you're at, and there was a guy that made a very enticing argument about carrying a 20 gauge because he was like, look, I've killed all the big game in North America with the 20 gauge. It's super light. You can find ammo all over the place. And if you carry a 12 gauge, there's even more ammo. It's super easy to reload. You can defend yourself with it. Also, you can take aim. And then when you're carrying this thing around, if you see a bird. And so I'm not saying a 12 gauge is it. And we actually, I think by the end of all of this, with the discussions that we've had was, you know what? There's no one gun. There's probably 3 that you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, what are they?
Well, and something that people took out. What are they?
Pistol,
rifle, shotgun.
Pistol, rifle, shotgun.
Yeah.
Weird. It goes along with the 3-gun match.
Yeah.
Pistol, rifle, shotgun.
When you write articles like that, people are like, well, what about? But what about? But what about? It's like, I never said don't or never or whatever. I never said don't get a bolt action rifle. I never said don't. But everyone's like, oh, you said. It's like, if that's what you want.
But I also will say this. I will say this. We're dealing with a rifle that was designed by a guy in his garage that had never seen combat, had never fired a gun in anger at anybody. Stoner, bless his heart, he's a great guy. But you know what? and there's some. It's like it's 2019. Is this the best we can do? And so I'm looking at it, and it's like we're stifling innovation because we're married to this thing. It's and people go, oh, there's been updates and all that stuff, and it's like the system. There's better systems out there. Nobody's going to argue that there's better systems out there. And I get it. You've got to train people, and it's going to cost a whole lot of money. That wasn't my point. My point was we should be able to come up with something better. We should. So.
And what is that?
How many people in the room distracting you, James?
Well, what's funny is they
are they
hear what you're
heckling us?
saying. They can only hear what I'm saying, so they're like, "What the hell are they talking about over there?"
Did you show him that?
Yeah.
Do you have live questions?
Oh yeah, they're coming in like
Yeah,
crazy.
he
I
should
try
be
to
able to see
ignore
the
them.
questions. We can.
If
there's any good ones that are on
why
there.
is he a hack and selling shitty tourniquets? No, I'm just kidding. So I don't know how
I
many
wouldn't-
people
I wouldn't, 'cause he
really
doesn't
bought
like the
tourniquets
AR.
from you, Jeff, but a shitload of people told me they bought tourniquets from you after that.
Yeah.
They did.
Like a bunch.
They did. It was your guys came out in force and really helped us out a ton, and so we really appreciate that.
And at least what I have seen, all the shit on the internet just kind of died down.
Yeah. It's weird how that works. And I think it's it's one of those things where it's like if you're not engaging them, they're like, oh, well, okay, this isn't fun anymore, so we're going to go do something else.
Go home someone else's leg.
Watch out, they're probably going to start bashing you, James. So yeah.
Please.
That'd be a first.
They'll
Come on,
redirect
Mike.
their hate towards it.
So what about a 1022, Jeff? Just in general, what do you think about that rifle?
Yeah, it's a great rifle. I mean, it's a great rifle. It's super multi-purpose depending on where you live. You can headshot. We had this very discussion. If you can headshot something. I've got buddies that are in the South that have taken a lot of the white-tailed deer that you guys have back there with 22s, with headshots. If you have that skill,
Poaching.
and you can carry a bazillion bullets. That's poaching. Oh, sorry.
Not legally. Not legally. So if any of the Bambi police are watching, they're like, who are these people, Jeff? I need you to name names.
I'll spell his name right. It starts with a Y and not a J.
Now we were talking earlier. I
but
think if anything ever kicked off, like everybody's got a 22, and you can carry 500 or 1,000 rounds no problem. So I think that if something ever really kicked off, I believe that 22 is going to be kind of the star that people really didn't consider in advance.
The 22 is great. It'd be hard to defend yourself with that, but I mean, it's certainly a heck of a lot better than nothing. And so, I mean, you put a couple of holes of 22 long into somebody, you're gonna remove a lot of their
at
motivation
least for a while.
Yeah.
So now
What do you think,
AK,
James?
AR stuff's going
What,
on.
He's
what do you-
reading.
what do
He's
you?
reading.
Brian
What do you
Kilu
think?
says AKs jam with sand, and because of their open tolerances, they are far more likely to get shit in the receiver. That's not true. Now, I don't say that the AK is this thing that will never stop, but that's not a true statement, Brian.
Yeah, and I think too with folks is they're like, oh yeah, AKs jam too, and it's like, well, yeah, they
Every
do.
gun is a machine.
Every gun's a machine. You've got to take care of it. And I think this is the world according to Jeff. I don't think AKs work because I don't think AKs are reliable and AKs work because they have loose tolerances. I think that AKs work because they're superior engineering and they work in spite of the loose tolerances that they have, because it's not just the gas rod that makes an AK as reliable as it is. You have a variety of reasons as to why that rifle functions the way that it was. And oh, by the way, it was designed by a whole bunch of dudes that just got done fighting the finest mechanized infantry that has probably walked the earth. And they were like, this is serious. We've got to design a rifle that works in the cold, in the desert, in the heat, when there's no resupply, it's got to work.
And an 18-year-old needs to be able to use it, take it apart, and clean it.
Yeah, and that's the second part is we've got to be able to get a conscript army because I mean think of where Stalin's head's at. He's not going to train a whole bunch of peasants that he's going to end up fighting later on. So we've got to be able to get these peasants, draft them in, force them into fighting, and they've got to be able to be effective so they can stand up against. Because they were looking at the big green machine back then, right? When they were putting that thing together, it's like, hey, the next war is going to be with the Americans. How are we going to keep up with them?
Then that's when they went to a 5.
Now, the rumor is that Kalashnikov hated. Yeah, the rumor is Kalashnikov hated the 5.45. I think there are articles out there about how they were messing with his baby, and he's just like, no. And the reason they did is because they were trying to keep up with the Joneses because we fielded in Vietnam this super lightweight, fast-moving bullet, and so they got in their minds like, well, we have to do that too.
Well, the 5.45 actually was a predecessor. It preceded the 5.56, so it was around. It was an experimental cartridge that the Russians had, but they were like, look, you know what? You need a 30 cal to put somebody down. It was Vietnam that showed the Russians. They were like, oh, okay, there's a bunch of stuff going on here with a small lightweight round that's moving really fast that we hadn't thought of. And so that's what ushered in the cartridge was already there. They just weren't using it. They were using the 7.62-39 and the 54. And so then that's what pushed it in. They're like, no, this is viable. Let's try it. Thus the AK-74.
They actually built a barrel reamer that wasn't 30 caliber. Because up until then, every barrel reamer in the Soviet Union was a 30 caliber.
It was a 30 cal.
Yeah. Pistols, rifles.
Well, but if you look at 30 cal seems to be the sweet spot. You've got to. The warfare changed when we look at Vietnam. So that was like one of the first wars. Yeah, in World War II, they did close in fighting because they were doing street to street fighting when they were going through Germany. When they were doing the Blitzkrieg, but when they were getting into the cities, so like when you start talking about Stalingrad and when the Americans were going through Berlin and stuff, that's about the only time we were really doing house to house fighting. But in Vietnam, because of the dense jungle, that brought everybody in this closer, more intimate series of gunfighting. Really, that is pretty new to what we were used to. So then all of a sudden, it was like, hey, if I have a small, fast moving round that tumbles immediately as soon as it starts hitting flesh, this is a viable alternative. Because the 30 cal, you had to have that fine line of one, you need to put a man down, and then two, you need to be able to smash through cover that he might be hiding behind, whether that's trees or brush or a sandbag or something. You got to, and so it was kind of that sweet spot to be able to do that.
Good stuff.
James, your thoughts?
Fucking people are crazy. Yeah,
you got to be careful when you say tumble,
I'm gonna go ahead and answer
because
that one.
everyone thinks. Yeah, they're for California people.
Yeah, that's where you get that shit. California.
There's still people that think that the bullet flips when it comes out of the
Kel-Tec folding rifle and the M1A. And I'm like, out of those three, who the fuck's not picking the M1A?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of vegans out there.
Well, but it's a great system.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great system.
Yeah, but it should be sold with a fucking mouth guard.
Yeah,
it should be sold with a mouth guard because the 16-inch SOCOM will rattle the fillings out of your mouth.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
especially if you're a vegan,
it'll bang it out.
Listen, if you're allergic to gluten,
there's not a lot of
kill
those
yourself. Fucking gluten allergies. Fucking world's newest eating disorder.
And the reason I'm late is because
my ancestors fought any number of lifetimes that they had to be strong and fast and smart to get to here and just give up and fucking not eat gluten. I feel like I let those eons of people down that fought and scraped and learned how to plant and harvest and hunt.
The final phases of evolution, huh?
Jesus Christ.
So we're going to talk about the keto diet now.
Who else is
AR-15?
Who else's bull do we want to gore? We want to gore someone else's bull. We haven't hurt enough feelings yet. There's still more feelings yet to be hurt out there.
What do you guys want to talk about? Is there any feelings we can hurt from anybody? Got anything? My live studio. They got nothing. They're looking at their phones. They're here watching a goddamn live show.
How can they have nothing?
I can't hear those guys.
Listen, this is your chance. This is your chance. Look.
We're reading lips.
Yeah, I'm trying to read the comments.
Yeah, the comment section's
How's your comments doing there?
incredible.
Dude. So for you guys asking, I don't like any of the fucking mixing of the races. And what I mean is, no 7.62 39 AKs, no 223. Sorry, no 7.6 not by 39 ARs, no 223 AKs, none of that stuff. I don't like any of that crap.
He was just going to go right off the cliff.
There you have it.
I knew he was a member of the clan. I knew it.
Hey, James, so I got a question for you. Have you shot the...
Have I shot the what?
Hey, James, I got a question for you. Have you shot the Robinson?
Uh-huh.
How'd you like that?
I mean, it's a rifle. I mean,
Okay,
John Farm was a big
that's actually
proponent of those
actually
things,
is a really
and
good
he's
answer
been bringing
because you're
them
pretty
around me for years,
opinionated
and I'm
about
just
stuff.
like, okay. And it seemed fine, but I'm just like, I don't want another gun and that has new parts, and I don't know.
Here comes the 40 calibers.
Yeah.
Here they come.
So what is your ultimate survival gun? Survivalist. You got your leather pants on, your dog down by your side.
All right.
What do you want to carry?
Browning BAR N545.
Oh, I can see the comments exploding now. There's no such thing as a BAR with 5. That's impossible.
I actually really wish that
Someone
inland
did
manufacturing,
make it racist.
since they're doing all these cool World War II guns, I really wish they would make one a BAR clone that people could afford. Because I know there's an Ohio ordinance or somebody has one for like $4,000, and I'm like, bro, I love
You know what?
I love you, but I can't give you $4,000.
The BAR. You know what? That was in the pile test when I was going through. Well, it wasn't in the pile test unless the instructors didn't like you, in which case it'd be in the pile test. Because there's got to be 100 parts to that stupid thing when you take it apart, and it is like, I mean, it is a miracle of engineering that thing
it's
even
a
works,
classic.
because there's a lot of parts to that thing. Somehow, I mean, it works. I mean, Bonnie and Clyde like robbed a ton of banks with it and shut up a lot of police.
And then they
officers.
got shot to pieces with one too.
Then
I
they
think
got
it was
shot to
kind of like
pieces one.
tete-a-tete there, or tit for tat. Oh,
But they, if they just chambered it in 5.45, then it'd probably been all good.
5.7. Chamber in
Underappreciated.
5.7. 4.6 HK.
in 10 millimeter.
You know what? Somebody just posted. They're like, "What about the 6.5 Creedmoor?"
What are the questions you got up there, James?
Dude, pick one.
Let me tell you something about the
45
Creedmoor.
gaps with a
Actually,
win.
it's
That's not a
a
question.
fantastic.
You
There you
lost your chance.
Taurus.
That's not a question.
You lost
How
your
the
chance.
Taurus
You lost your
work out.
You lost your chance.
Pick a question.
You fail. Try again.
Hold on a second.
Say something intelligent, you freak.
My shit ain't working.
Crank is the shit.
Well, you
Hello.
must be getting old.
Hello. Hello.
I don't see any
Must be
questions. They're all
getting old.
statements.
There.
They're just nobody's asking a.
No.
Oh, statement.
Somebody
That's,
said
that's not a
KS
question. It's a
27
statement.
question mark. Me
How about,
too.
Are there any real applications of 12-inch 7.62 Draco?
Is there any use for a 12-inch Draco?
Is there?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That's what I carried in the war. I mean, that's what I carried in the war. It was essentially as a Draco. It was a little bit bigger than a crank, and that's what I carried. And it was, I carried. We had the MP7s were the hotness there for a little bit, and then I figured out that thing was only like that much shorter than my Draco, and I was like, I'll go back to a 30 cal. So
Right.
the comments must be just scrolling. These guys are rapt. Attention.
People.
Or they're going so fast they can't keep
Oh,
up.
here's a good question. How many?
That's what happens. They go so fast they can't keep up.
No, don't. No, none of that bullshit.
Don't. All of them.
I'll say Chase Kelly wants to know what
Zach, are you
your
monitoring
preferred
their
rifle
feed
is,
over there?
Jeff.
Who, me? What was
Yeah.
the question?
What's
What
your
rifle
preferred
do you like?
You know, I really like the Robinson. I've got a 308 and a 5.56 Robinson, and I'm really happy with it. He did a fantastic job getting that thing super slim. I mean, you pick it up and you're like, this is a 308, and it's lightweight. You can change the barrels out really easy. So I'm a big fan of the Robinson, and he happens to be here in Utah, and he's a fascinating guy to go up and talk to.
Very cool. You're talking
John
about
Farnham's a
carrying
big
an AK
Robinson fan.
Overseas. It's funny, every time I talk about AK overseas, people go, were they full auto? Yeah, all of them in the fucking world are full auto except ours. I go over there in fucking Africa. Let's make a fucking semi-auto AK.
See, it's got to be full auto, so
Well,
that those arms
it's more
dealers can
powerful.
change out.
It's more powerful. If it's full auto, it makes the round more powerful.
Well, that's why you move the sight all the way to the end, because if it's shooting further on the sight,
Oh, yeah.
then that means the bullet's going further. It
Who-
makes it more
was it you,
powerful.
James, or you that said that they cranked the leaf sights all the way up to 9 because they thought that was made the gun more
Yeah,
powerful?
it's a true story.
Because you
Not me.
slip it all the way up to 9.
The challenges of
teaching Indige.
challenges of teaching Indige sometimes. Where it's
The-
like, no,
Hey,
that
listen,
doesn't make the
anybody
bullet
that eats
stronger.
their earplugs,
I turned mine up to 9.
hey, listen, anybody that eats their earplugs because they think
Who
they're
thinks-
candy is not really up to 9 kind of person. Fucking mental giants. And me and Jay took some guys to the range. And they didn't want to wear safety glasses or earplugs, and they started shooting. And in the sand of the berm, there was tracer rounds. So they'd shoot them, and they'd reignite these tracer rounds, and those tracer rounds were like bouncing around and stuff, and they couldn't get those goddamn safety glasses fast enough after that.
I just want to say it's funny. It is you three guys are sitting here, and every time you start looking at the questions, all of you are doing this, where you're just shaking
Everyone's
your-
shaking their head like, no,
Everyone's shaking their head.
no.
They're saying
We're not
going
gonna
to
do that one.
And every time you guys read a question, like you, all three of it at the same time are going.
It's incredible.
There's some winners out there typing tonight.
What's the round count on the Taurus G2C?
Hey,
Yeah,
there we
we're
go.
back.
Thank you, Zach.
What?
The satellite went down for a second there.
Oh, we didn't miss you guys at all.
Oh, good.
There's a decent one. Pumpkin Defender.
So people keep asking, like, I guess they weren't here earlier, what's the best prepper gun, or if you can only have one gun, or, whatever. I'm just like, come on, man. How about get some training,
The gun
guys?
that you have in your hand,
I
man.
guess, we'll answer so many questions by taking training. These guys are all here training. They're all on their fucking 35th class here. I don't know what else I can teach these guys. The good thing about police trade-in rifles and shotguns and pistols is they are not shot. They might be worn on the outside from being carried around, but the inside is pristine.
They're almost half price too.
No, don't buy those. Fucking 40s. Ruin the world.
You see the
No 40s.
PKM and
Replace all the
Oh, yeah.
pins.
I
swap
don't.
out
Do
the
they
barrel.
do they even still
What's that?
sell 40s?
My 40. That's your problem solver? It's just
That's my
problem
40.
solver.
That's a 40
Do they,
50,
do they
For
sell
men.
40s anymore?
10 millimeter.
That's
This is a
free for me.
model 40. Model 40. So it's
Model
10
40.
millimeter, and that really fucks with their heads. Okay, Jaeger's got a 40? That's right, motherfuckers.
I knew it. I knew someday you'd carry a 40.
There you
No,
go.
the
Mike
answer is
Texas
some
is
people
coming
still
back up
carry
and fighting
40s.
rifle.
Or they still
Awesome. Bring your bar or whatever you got.
Your behavior, yeah.
We had
People
bunch of
crazy.
20
we had
round
40s.
All right,
in,
Jeff, what about 300 blackout?
DEA.
What do you think?
I think you're tap dancing around the head of a pin is what I think with 300 blackout. I think you're tap dancing around the head of a pin.
Okay,
a 300
I,
blackout
I'm
is
not a
essentially
Mormon. I don't know what that
7.6239.
means.
It means
You're
just
splitting atoms.
just do a
You're
7.6239.
splitting
It's
atoms.
cheaper.
You're splitting atoms. No, but it's not as cool. You know what? If J.D. Jones would have patented that and got a royalty on every round of 300 blackout that was ever sold, he'd be a billionaire right now.
Yeah, but he didn't.
The original 300 Blackout was called the 300 Whisper.
Oh,
And
yeah,
J.D.
yeah.
Jones developed it like 30 years ago, but he didn't. His wife's probably really angry at him for not doing that too.
That or she's really happy. He
Or-
didn't.
I don't
didn't go
think
through
anybody
the
has to pay a
power
royalty for
process.
loading ammunition unless you guys know something I don't.
He didn't patent that round. He didn't patent it.
Yeah.
Can you?
And they just
patent
came
it?
But you know what? If he
Copy.
had patented it, it would have never gone out. Yeah, you could patent. Like
Yo, you
you
can
could
patent.
at least get a design patent on that. Yeah, certainly you could. But the problem is, as soon as you patent something like that, unless you've got the muscle to push it out and license it, it'll never see the light of day. You know what I mean? So patents are kind of a double-edged sword.
What do you think about the Creedmoor, James?
I think you're a shit starter. Here's my thing about the Creedmoor. If a fucking 308 won't do it, I've got a 338. What the fuck do I need a goddamn 22 long rifle that shoots 5 miles?
So
It's like the
always
two. Not the 6.5 Creedmoor because it's way better. It's like, they're almost like the identical. Same.
Okay, Sebastian
But that's
says,
okay. We don't want to talk about factors.
Is it important to reload your own ammo for a prepper? I think this is not his first language, but he's doing a good job. So, how important is reloading, Jeff, or Paul? Since you're both
I would say
Mormons.
I'd say that's one of the big arguments. You can reload it with stinking anything. I mean, you could throw gravel down there if that's all you've got, and the worst of the day. So, yeah, I think that's one of the big bennies for a shotgun. Paul?
Well, reloading is it's always good.
Post-
If you ever get to the point in time like Mad Max and we're selling shotgun shells for a half a chicken you're just as well.
Get the
But
bow
you
out.
see that's those are human in the I would be more concerned.
The
Yeah.
dysto- that means you're
It's
cool.
got mine. Never ran out. They keep goddamn crossbow bolt.
You found a Connex.
will say it's a lot easier to find.
Speaking of which, you got to check it out.
I'm gonna
I told
check
you
that
about
out.
it.
Is that
Because Lynn Thompson just does stuff because he wants to. He wanted one. He's like, well, we'll make one for me and then we'll sell some.
Did you ever watch his firearms training video?
Oh,
No.
yeah, I have.
Man,
No. How was
off
it?
the hook. Yeah, you guys want to have some fun,
It's-
a little drinking game or something?
It's pretty cray
Watch
cray.
it, and every time he does something retarded, take a drink. You're not going to make it.
It's alcohol poisoning.
It is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch it now. Is it on YouTube?
It is awesome.
It's like a 6 DVD series.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
That's
lying.
good.
It is. It's like a 6 DVD series.
Wow.
Hey,
gonna
all
have to
you
check it
guys
out.
that
Roll
are
tape.
having problems with the feed, I'm gonna give you your money back.
Okay.
Fucking bitches.
I love that when people yell at you online about how, the signal's fading. The fuck? What do you think I want it to be? You think I want it to be shitty? Like, well, we could fix it, but we've just decided not to.
It's like that's
Paul,
where
the
you're like,
best one I've
Zach,
ever gotten
get
was the guy that was
coat
bitching
hanger.
about me
Get
about
the
the
coat
volume
hanger.
of the video.
Oh,
He
no,
says,
not
I've got
again.
it turned all the way up and I can barely hear it. And I said, unplug your earbuds. He said he was sorry. His earbuds laying on his desk. We had Teen Wolf here last.
There's got to be
week,
more
and
people
He
on
talked more
it.
than you guys.
There's
I
got to
can't
be.
hear anything,
You got to
guys.
share some of those
Like,
comments.
you
with
guys
us.
can all hear what they're saying and what we're saying. All these guys are getting what I'm saying, and that doesn't make any sense, even if it was a whole conversation.
You're getting like some mumbles. That's it.
We got to figure out a system here so we can see the comments too, where you can share them so we can see those.
I just want to make everybody.
You want me to
see
put 'em up?
that. I just stippled this, so make sure everybody gets
Don't
some.
eat any Cheetos.
Oh, such good times. Such good times. So what's next, James? What do you got coming up that's cool and hot?
Nothing. Just teaching, man. These guys will be in day 2 of the fight tomorrow.
Yep.
And then Friday we got a private class for some dudes. We're gonna shoot some pistols, and then a 5-day rifle class starts Saturday, and then I think it's next
It's my dad,
Thursday. I leave for teaching in Bastrop, Texas.
Robert Nichols.
Bastrop, Texas. Are you taking the Nightmare with you, or you're leaving him back?
The Nightmare is going back on the road again.
The Nightmare's going to Texas. All right.
2 T's.
Nice.
That's right.
Where is Bastrop, Texas?
Bastrop, Texas?
Near
Ask
Austin.
James.
Where is that in Texas?
North.
Near Austin.
okay.
There you go.
Just east.
There you go.
You know, and all those fucking libs in fucking Austin fucking love it when I'm down there. It's like there's like a disturbance in the forest. They can feel it.
The people in Austin can't.
Bumper sticker that says
Are you Jay? Are you originally from Tennessee, or
yeah, I
where
grew
are you
up 20
originally
miles from here.
Oh, okay. All right.
What the fuck does that mean? You went Arab on here that I'm seen him eat bacon. Vance.
ABCs, right? Because I come up leading. Guess what? You got nothing we can do. In a way.
Pressure dressing is
Here's the thing for all you guys. Stuff's awesome. Like person. I mean, yeah, long term.
advanced. CPR is advanced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, tourniquet is advanced, and NPA is advanced. And
Packing
stuff.
a wound is
Packing a wound
advanced.
is advanced. So it just depends on your training level what advanced is.
Yeah. Now,
When you guys talk, they
Hey,
can-
you know how you know what you don't know? You go to training.
He's going to stand off.
you go train.
You go train,
I was
then
like-
you learn what you
I was
don't
like, I
know.
got too many guys talking. Not you, Jeff. These mongoloids.
Shut up, Mongoloids. We're having a conversation.
They can't hear you.
Go. Can't hear you. So there you go.
So there you have it.
Robert Sasida. Sorry if I'm fucking your name up. No single actions in the revolver class. Sorry there, Chappie. The cowboy, whatever you are.
No single actions.
James, do you think a person who's lived their
James has
entire
got a
life
big
in the
revolver
northeastern
class.
U.S. can move to a place like Tennessee and be happy? We don't want you here. So no, because I'll tell you to leave every day. You can move down here, but I don't want to hear about the pizza down here is shitty. I don't want to hear you fucking asking what a goddamn grit is. I don't give a shit how you used to do it back up north. But you can come.
Move to Nashville.
Fucking Yankees.
Yankees.
So early.
What else you got? You guys, I feel like I'm getting left out here.
No, it's not. People in East Tennessee are hillbillies. I'm a redneck, and you tell hillbillies because they have one of their legs is shorter than the other one from walking around the mountain their whole life, and they say yins instead of y'all, and you know that's fucked up. Max, you can visit Tennessee, but you got to take your Yankee ass back home. And you fucking all the time these fucking Yankees come down here and they go and I got 2 spring-fed creeks right by the range and they go piss in the fucking creek. Like, go piss in the fucking creeks, you fucking Yankee motherfuckers. They do it anyway.
Why would they? No, that's not good. That's not
I know.
good. You don't pee in water.
City people.
It's
City
like
people.
crystal
City people.
clear spring water and they piss in it.
Oh, city people. City people do that kind of stuff.
Yankees.
Hey, James, you've never been to Bill Wilson's place, but it's in Texas. And
Oh,
I was
no.
there, and there was a guy from New Jersey and a guy from New York, right? And they had a full-service bathroom, but out at the range, we're out there, and in the range is like surrounded by forest, basically. It's out in the middle of nowhere, Texas. So this New Jersey guy says, where's the restroom at? And he goes, and Bill's like, you got to go number 1 or number 2. And he's like, oh, just number 1. And he goes, right there. And he points to the tree line. And he's like, you mean just urinate on one of the trees? It's like, he says, yeah, go ahead. It's okay out here in the country to piss on one of the trees. Go for it.
Oh, were you talking, Paul?
That's his training. You're such a dick.
Somebody's asking about
Hey, when you're
classes
doing-
and
when-
a lot of-
I was going to say when you do your classes, like right now your fight class with Sims, what do you use for that? Which are you running Glocks and M4s or?
yeah, Glocks and M4s.
Gotcha. And then are you running the regular for the protective for the face stuff? Are you running pro masks or are you running the like the Sims masks?
Yeah, just paintball mask.
Paintball mask. Gotcha.
Like, it can't go fast. And is this thing right? Is it working?
Shit, Batman.
I don't think it's working.
It's
Yeah, but is it?
That's not a 1 hour glass.
yeah, I
That's
don't
not a
know.
1 hour glass because we've been going for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
and
we've
it's
been
not,
going
it's not even close to being
Yeah,
empty
but
yet.
most of it's.
That's like an hour and a half hour glass.
I don't know, man. We're gonna find out.
So I got a question for you, James. Here's a
All right.
question for you, and this should elicit some comments from folks.
He doesn't have a beard.
Why is questioning whether controversial to so many people?
Because they invest their. They don't. They read shit on the internet. As soon as they buy it, this is the best thing. It doesn't matter. And then the sub fight beyond the AR-15 is not the right gun. Then we could say, if it's not a Daniel Defense AR-15, it's really not the right gun. And then we got another fight there among the AR-15 owners. And then what trigger do you got in yours? You can't have a mil-spec trigger. You got to have a fucking Geisley, you motherfucker. So that.
So how do we so if that's the case, then how do we
Training.
improve? How do we evolve
Training.
forward?
Training. All truth is in training. And I tell people this all the time. They ask me, what gun should I buy? I say, come take a class. I'll loan you a gun. At the end of the class, you can make a educated consumer decision on what gun is right for you. They go, nah, I'll just buy a gun.
First class I ever went to, I rented a gun.
Yep.
I rented a gun.
Tell them about that.
Of course, I was 19.
Paul, tell that story.
Who, me? No, first class I ever went to was actually a John Farnham class. I took a 40-hour class from John Farnham, and I was 19, and I had to rent a gun. But the school had rental guns, and so that's what you did. I rented a gun, and it was a GI surplus 1911 with standard stock sights. Yes, indeed. And we fired rounds by the bucketful. Like, literally, they brought open cardboard boxes with plastic liners and cut them open, and you just reached in and loaded up cast lead 45 ACP cartridges into your gun.
Wad cutters.
Nice.
Yeah, if you've never shot cast lead bullets, 300-400 rounds a day, you don't even come talk to me.
It looks like a Civil War
You don't even know
battlefield.
old school.
Fucking smoke everywhere.
There was smoke everywhere. Your hands were gray.
So that's why you're crazy.
That could be
got
it.
lead
That could be it exactly. That could be it exactly. It's all that. The chemical poisoning.
You'd hear these stories about these guys that, like, the frontiersmen and stuff that were out on the fighting the Indians, and like in the guys in the Civil War, they would carry the lead balls in their mouth,
and
so that they could spit them down the barrel. It's like, yeah, probably not good for you.
That's like using mercury to felt a hat, man. You get the beaver and you get the mercury, and you're good to go. You're just rubbing on your hands all in it.
Mad as a hatter.
But guys, to this day, I have to tell students not to pick up casings and put them in their fucking ball caps to collect them.
Put them in their hats. Don't stop doing that.
Yeah, and they go, oh, I never thought about that.
Just
I'm like,
put it in your
you
container.
should.
You got to put it on your head, and all that chemical's going to seep into your rah.
Which is why I lost my hair, and I tried to claim that at the VA, and they were like, "Get out of here with that crap."
Pro Gun Inc. says training
The Army
shows you how much you don't know. No, you've had some shitty training. No, training shows you what you need to practice, how you need to practice, and things like that. Ways to expand. It shouldn't leave you thinking that you were shitty. It should say, this is the new way I'm going to do things in an improved fashion.
There
Drew
you go.
Slosher.
Push the boundaries.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Jeff. Oh, I thought
I was
I
just saying,
interrupted
push the boundaries.
you. Yeah. Drew says, who are those guys behind you? How about you go back and watch the fucking front of the video, jackass? You think you're a fucking moderator? I ain't going to fucking call you out? Fuck you, Drew. Get your ass back there.
What's that Godsmack song? Speak the truth or make your peace another way. That should be a theme song that you play before every show. Speak the
Daniel
truth.
Perez says cleaning
Or
guns
make your
with or
peace
without
another
gloves.
way.
If you mean like surgical gloves, that's pretty gay. I'd rather just take the lead poisoning.
It's way easier
Crystal,
to clean your hands.
Crystal, how many
He's so
classes have you
jaded.
had?
He's so
Like
jaded.
period, not just here, but like period, like half a dozen or something like that. And
Cam?
now this girl named Crystal has trained a bunch, and I'm just she's one of my moderators. She's a smart girl to begin with, but she's had a bunch of training, and it's funny because guys will ask her a question, and they're just like, nah, girl, and they know, and she knows more than them, People are retarded.
I've seen that.
Do you guys have any decent questions?
Oh, it's
or-
always a laugh.
I figured the 300 blackout question was from one of my people because they always try to do that to get me spun up.
300 blackout. You're not a fan of 300 blackout?
It's an expensive Gucci fucking thing, and
Yeah, I know.
everyone's.
Hey, listen. First off, you guys should.
Well, it
talk
was
about
like when 300 black.
is because you're poor.
That's right. If you had money, you'd get shoot a good cartridge.
But you know what? It
People
was like
keep-
that.
listen,
It
I
was like that
blackout,
stupid
whatever. But
MP7.
people keep telling me how great it is. In all the years it's been out, one dude has come through class with it, and then he fucking blew his rifle up.
I was here one day.
I mean, it was kind of. I mean, I'm all for innovation
Well, then
and
maybe
pushing the limits and stuff. But it's like that MP7 that came out, the HK MP7. What a piece of garbage that was. I mean, it was.
Was it 4.6?
Yeah, 4.7. And
4.6,
so
4.7.
yeah, and so 4.6, 4.8, whatever.
Well,
And-
first off,
and
fuck
I mean, it was
HK.
essentially a 22 mag.
Secondly, fuck HK. Bunch of goddamn Third Reich motherfuckers thinking we don't need guns over here. Fucking assholes.
But
Sorry.
they sell us a lot.
Not really.
But they sell us a lot.
Relentless with those questions over and over.
All right, Crystal says she's done 5 or 6 classes. Now she started BJJ. That's badass. Good for you, girl.
And she's going to see Sonny.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
going to go train with Sonny
right on.
Pazikas. That's going to be, probably 50% win, 50% fail with Sonny. Like, he's fucking retarded. That dude. We fucking do classes, and he's like, all right, now we're going to point the guns at each other. I'm like, well, time out. We don't do that here. We don't do that at my place. We don't point the, I will make them unload mostly. No, we don't do that. Okay, now we will stand on heads and shoot. No, we don't. Why do you stop? I'm like, you're making, they don't do that in Russia. You're just making that shit up.
What was the one thing you called the blooming death or something?
Oh, the Blooming Death is pretty good. Do you guys know the Blooming Death? Do you guys know that? Paul?
Is that the
You
one
know
that made
the
him
Blooming
famous on Gifs with Sound?
Okay, AK, curved magazine in the crook
Right,
of
in the
my
pistol.
arm, so that pointed that way. My finger on the thumb, my hand around the pistol grip, so the stock's here, and a pistol in my hand, and go. That's right. Fuck yeah.
Oh my god.
Like the fucking Blooming Death. You know that. You know that's cool as shit.
All right, James. All right. How many? Well, you probably don't watch it, but there's this YouTube phenomenon where they take clips and then they drop music over them. It's called GIFs with Sound. Anyway, Sonny was on one of their episodes. It was that, and they did the Dance of the Black Swan. Is that what's the one that he did in Caddyshack when they're in the pool? When they're in the pool,
Yeah.
that music.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm
I
talking
don't know
about?
the name of it. I'm not gay.
Nutcracker Suite.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's Nutcracker.
I think it's the Nutcracker Suite, whatever. But anyway, they dubbed that music over it, and it was like a 30-second.
Man,
clip.
I got to get on the internet more often. I haven't seen any of this.
It's actually my son showed me. It's actually.
Oh, yeah, I
but-
haven't
Jeff, you were
seen any
fighting
of
a war
this.
when
It's
this
like
happened.
what?
No, this is just like last year.
No, that
Yeah, it
that
was
might
just
have been,
last
but the
year.
actual video is like 10 years
I
old
w-
or something.
The clip, yeah, the video. You know,
was-
when they
I was
when they
watching
put the
AFN.
the Nutcracker over it or what? AFN.
Also,
Beware of
I
geeks
like
wearing
AFN.
gifts.
We'd have. It was like AFN. Horrible
Some of you
TV.
guys will get that.
A farts.
So there's one year, and it just so happened we're working. I was in Kandahar, right, and we had some Canadians that were down there with us. They're
Fucking
some of their
Canadians.
special operations guys, right?
JTF
And these guys were actually probably these guys were legit. They were great dudes,
He's
but
being a contrarian.
is he? No. And so it's the Olympics, right? And it's playing AFN and curling that somehow made it into the Olympics. And the only thing they would play on AFN was curling.
And the Canadians dug it.
And the
'Cause their
Canadians
team
were
was going to win, man.
They were like, "Yeah, hey, this is good stuff."
What
And
the
it's
hell's
like,
that all
"No,
about?"
it's not. This is horrible. How is this a sport?"
You just don't understand. You don't understand. Take off, you hoser.
Hey, beer.
It
Hey.
can't. We're talking about curling.
It's
It
true.
can't
It's
go
true.
fast enough. Serious things. Oh yeah, there's no way this thing is right.
No. God no.
It's not. I told you, there's no way that's an hourglass.
You just got lost on
Like
your
56
sextant
minutes
there.
in, yeah.
You're way off your time there.
We're just waiting for good questions to land.
Okay,
Someone
I
just
mean,
pull
I got something to
pull the
say.
string. 357 SIG, pros and cons.
So, sometimes people have problems in their lives. Like maybe they can't read, or maybe they don't have a job, and that's their guapo. Sometimes, being dyslexic is their guapo. Sometimes having cancer in your neck is el guapo. And Paul has got cancer, has been diagnosed with cancer, and I don't know how he's fucking smiling right now, but he's a better man than me. So some of you fucking geeks post up the GoFundMe for Paul. Just type in Paul and cancer in the neck and whatever the hell people type into those things. And guys, donate to him.
I think
He's a good
it's that
dude.
simple, but
He's a good friend, and he is the voice of freedom. And we don't need them cutting his throat out and like holding it hostage or anything for payment. So we need to help him out here. And I'm asking all you guys and my friends to help Paul out. Just whatever you don't mind donating, and then just double it. Because fucking Paul won't ask.
cut that in half.
Donate.
I should have cut that in half and double it.
I just said double it.
You're a good man, James. You're a good dude, man.
Don't tell people that. So, Jeff, or Paul, you guys got
I
something
tell-
you might
I
want
tell people that-
close us out with, or something you want to say?
Yeah, you know what? I'll close out my final words with like, hey, if you said don't tell people that, I got to tell you, I tell people that all the time, and people that shit talk you, it's like, you know what? No, James, good American. He's a great human being, and he's always been supportive of us and what we're doing in the tactical and the emergency preparedness and survival space. And so I just, and what you're doing for Paul, my hat's off to you, man. You're a great guy. I really appreciate it.
It's hard to help Paul. He
And he
does
didn't plug,
everything
he didn't
can
plug
to
his
stop it.
company.
What's that?
He didn't plug his company. Go to readyman.com.
Readyman.com.
And all that good stuff.
And you
Yeah,
can read
that
the
too.
original article that he pissed everybody off with.
What's up with the tactical?
There you go. Exactly. Read it for yourself. Make a decision.
Read,
Make a
read it for
decision.
yourself, and ignore the 4 studies at the bottom that back up what I was saying.
Evidencebasedmedicine.com.
The old evidence.
All right, Paul, you got to sign off. You want to say anything?
Yeah, go to studentofthegun.com and browse around and look at stuff and go to James's class in Bastrop, Texas, and Pennsylvania, and all those places. Up and coming dates.
Oh,
And James
you
is
still
gonna
talking?
come to Utah and teach a class sometime soon, aren't you,
Yeah,
James? Yes,
Jeff,
say
I need
yes.
a range so I
James.
can go teach a class.
He's going to
for
come to
a
Utah.
fundraiser for Paul and get all those Mormons trained up.
All right,
We should give one of those away.
all right.
That's all right.
We're
That's
going to
right.
start working on that.
All right, and just keep in mind. Last thing I want to say is fighting solves everything.
Fighting solves
Let's get to
everything.
fighting.
Hashtag fighting solves everything. Thanks, guys. Paul will be on next week. Hell, I guess Jeff will too. Like I guess they're inseparable now. They've both been on.
I don't know.
both
We'll
the
some
podcasts,
cheers.
so-
I'll sit there, and Jeff can sit here, and we can talk about other stuff.
But
We got to come
we'll
up with new
have
stuff
him
to talk
and maybe
about.
Jeff on next Wednesday. So get your questions ready, and hopefully better than you had this week. James Jager for Type Response, reminding you that your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends. Now go away. Go home. You fuckers are out of time.